we had to navigate that and could use that to mine for comedy and for drama. I mean, but there's nothing in the world that will unite opposing forces better than a common enemy. And so I think when it comes to saving the galaxy or saving the universe from somebody as despicable as Thanos, that's a great cause to put your ego aside and team up together. And that's kind of what this movie is about.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Priscilla.
Okay, next one.
A little louder.
Next one, Isabela Villa from M de Mulher.
Hi.
Hi.
How did it feel like be with so many great characters and be Peter Quill, who isn't really known when you don't really read comics? How it is to be around Iron Man, Thor, and so many great actors at that moment. How it is to feel? How do you feel? How do you see this interaction? And did you like it? How is it so amazing? I don't know. It's so amazing to see all that. And how did it feel? And at the end, did you feel like, oh, that's amazing, and I want to do it again?
Well, the first part of the question, people didn't know who Peter Quill was. A lot of people didn't before the first movie came out. I think that it was more like a second tier or third tier comic. Not a lot of people read Guardians of the Galaxy, and if they did, a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy comics didn't include Star-Lord, and so it was definitely a story and a character that people were not familiar with, and with that there are advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that you don't have any expectations, and you also don't have any incarnations of the character to which you will be compared. Tom Holland has a really tough job coming in as Spider-Man, and isn't he amazing? Tom Holland's the best. Yeah, give it up for Tom. His responsibility in playing Spider-Man was particularly difficult because he has a couple of versions of Spider-Man that have come out before him, and that makes it complicated. It's just a different type of challenge than playing a character that no one's ever heard of. So he had high expectations, and he exceeded those expectations. But with the Guardians of the Galaxy and with Peter Quill, there were very low expectations, and I think we did pretty well. And so, as far as that coming into the Avengers, I think we have the benefit of two pretty successful movies already, with Guardians 1 and Guardians 2 coming out, and people around the world know these characters now, and it just increased the opportunity for comedy. And especially, I think there's nothing funnier than somebody with a big ego meeting somebody else with a big ego. I think it can be very funny, and we used that for comedy through the movie. I don't know if that answered your question.
Carol Alves.
I love you guys. You guys are the best fans in the world. Straight up. It's nice. It's really nice to be here. Oh, there you go. We got dance moves. Look at that. There you go.
Carol Alves, do Destaque. Ok. Obrigado.
It's going pee.
Gabriela Ciorlia, da Capricho. Ok. Tá aí. She's there.
Hi, Chris. How
Hi.
are you? Well, although things are changing a lot, we still see more men portrayed as superheroes than women. If we look to Avengers, we have 9 heroines for 21 heroes. So why do you think that happens? How can we change it? And why should girls go watch Avengers Infinity War?
It's a good question. It's a really good question, and I think that you know, a lot of the movies that we're making today and have been making for the past 10 years have been based on a canon of comic books from, you know, the beginning of the time of comic books, which is whatever, the 50s or the 60s or, you know, maybe earlier. But I think most of the writers of those comics were men. And I think a lot of the readers were men. But I think that that's changing now because, most of the writers and the directors and producers are men. And that's something that is really changing, I think. We're seeing it change a lot over the last year or two. We've got Captain Marvel coming out. And it's a DC thing, but we've got the success of Wonder Woman. I think that there's obviously a desire to make female-driven stories, but cynically, more importantly, there's a big box office draw as well that will actually motivate that to really happen. And I think that you just wait, because there are a lot of really great women such as yourself and men who are. Yeah, Miss Marvel, there you go. But because people are excited to go and see those stories, and we have proof of that with box office numbers, you're going to see a ton of those stories. And I think the way that it changes is by having empowering women to write these stories, direct these stories, produce these stories, and ultimately changing the landscape for the characters that can be cast. Because for a long time, it's really competitive for women more so than men in Hollywood because there just aren't as many well-written roles. You know, a lot of times it's just hot girl at the bar, or, you know, and I'm probably not the guy to be like, talking about this, and all I'm talking about now is the result of my having been listening for the last year or so. But I guess that's my take on it since you asked, and I'm eager to see more change like that moving forward.
Okay, we have a couple more questions for you.
I wanted to ask you, we do see a lot of singing and dancing coming from Peter on the Guardians movies. Can we expect anything like that in Infinity War at all?
Well, I mean, music is obviously a huge part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it continues to be a huge part in Infinity War, and so you'll get to see Peter enjoying himself to some music.
Actually, what do you think that Peter Quill brings to the Avengers that wasn't there before?
I would say, I think humbly, the Guardians of the Galaxy brought something fresh to the Marvel Cinematic Universe when it came out, a sense of a cosmic scope, a colorful palette, a comedy and a reverence and a tone that was pretty fresh when it first happened. And I think we continue to bring that into the Avengers, just like Doctor Strange brought a new type of psychedelic intellectual twist, and Black Panther brought a powerful social relevance, and every movie that's come forward, that's what Marvel has been so good with, is each of the movies that they make are tonally actually quite different. Sometimes you have something that's more comedic, sometimes you have something that's a little more action driven. They're movies that fall under the Marvel umbrella, but actually are different genres of movie. And so what the Guardians will bring into this movie is that familiar tone that you're used to with the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was really important to all the cast members and to James Gunn, who executive produces James Gunn. It was really important for us to not get lost or caught up or homogenized into the Avengers. We are different. We're outlaws. We're a little bit different than the Avengers. We handle ourselves a little differently than the Avengers, and so it was important for us to stay true to that tone so that we could honor the franchise and to the fans who love the franchise.
And we do see a lot of the Guardians with Thor in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
How was it to work with Chris Hemsworth? Because you two now are like the comedy, nuclei of the
I got
Marvel.
to tell you, it was really awesome working with him, and thankfully, because he has every right to be a giant asshole, but he's not. He's like super tall and handsome, really funny and charismatic, and has great hair, and you know, he has every right to be a total jerk, and instead he's not, and he's just professional. He's really fun. You know, he accepted all of us Guardians, right? You know, the first day that we worked, we were doing a scene with him, and he made us all feel very comfortable. He's a legend. We had a great time. I liked working with him. I'd like to work with him some more.
And was there anyone that you were really excited to meet?
Anyone that I was really excited to meet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've always been a big fan of Mark Ruffalo, and I think he's an extraordinary actor and a really kind human being, a big-hearted human being. I was really excited to meet him. I really got along well with the members of the Black Panther cast that I met. Denai and Letitia. I don't know if you know Letitia. She's fantastic. She's really cool, and we had a lot to talk about. And I think she's a bright young star. Tom Holland. I've met him a couple times, but it was great getting to work with him. Benedict Cumberbatch. That was really cool. It was great to meet Lizzie Olsen. Well, I actually knew Lizzie, and I met her before, but it was nice to get to work with her. And Gwyneth Paltrow. I got to work with Gwyneth Paltrow. That was pretty awesome. So I actually, there wasn't really anyone I wasn't excited to meet. All of them.
Yeah. And just to wrap it up, what can we expect from Thanos?
Oof, man. Josh Brolin, man, he does an amazing job. It's going to be dark. It's going to be dark. And from what I know of the movie, I really think you do yourself a disservice to try to learn too much before seeing it. You just really go to the theater and have, you know, just don't spoil it for yourself. And honestly, don't spoil it for anyone else. Like, I think, you know, if you guys learn stuff, really, there's something really sacred about the communal experience of going to a movie and experiencing something spectacular at the same time together. That's the thing that people around the world can do and will be doing at the same time. And so what you can expect from Thanos is some really deep, dark, ass-kicking action and acting from Josh Brolin. Some evil shit, man. I expect to be blown away.
Well, we need to wrap things up with our own. We're all streaming.
Okay.
We have to. So if you could say something to people who's watching.
That's right. We got about 800 people in the theater, but we also on various devices live streaming. We've got people all around the world. I want to say thank you for watching and for tuning in, and I hope you have a hell of a time at the movies. And we worked our butts off, and I think you're going to be really proud. We're really proud of what we have, and I think you're going to be really excited to see it. So go to the movies, sit back, relax, and enjoy the biggest movie of all time.
É isso, obrigado pessoal. Vamos encerrar o nosso streaming agora. Curta o vídeo, assina o canal, por que não?
Já tô aqui.
Okay, and we will continue right here with only you guys.
You guys have some